Well, morning everyone and welcome back to the vlog. Now I had a really good plan this morning that was the weather forecast. It was going to be grey, it was going to be wet, and I thought get on out there anyway and maybe do a bit of a vlog on pushing yourself even when it's raining and wet. And look, where my location just happens to be still covered in snow from a few days back. So anyway, I can't complain. It's absolutely stunning out here, it really is. So I've come down by the river, but I've just come through the trees here and noticed that the snow around is just covered in leaves, mainly oak leaves, but it really does make a stunning scene with all these leaves just scattered on the snow that hasn't been touched in front of me. So I think what I'm going to do before walking and leaving footprints everywhere is put on the macro lens and see if I can get a couple of shots just of these leaves that are sat on the snow. So I think what I'm going to do is actually just work my way around, just finding little different compositions and just take a whole load of shots of different leaves. And got to be really careful not to leave footprints around. There are a few around the outside where there's been a few animals about, but I think I'm just going to sort of hone in on some nice different sort of leaf patterns. Some of them have got a few droplets of rain on them that have frozen. And there's some small bits of lichen that is obviously blown out of the trees as well, which gives it just a little splash of green colour. So I think I'll pick some single leaves and then pick a couple of groupings and work my way around and see if I can get a few images. Okay, so I've come across these couple of oak leaves. What I really like about them is that the small one has still got a little bit of colour in it, still a bit of green. There's a tiny little bit of lichen by the side of the leaves. And then the main brown leaf has got some water droplets on it. Now, because I'm shooting on the macro lens, it's an incredibly shallow depth of field. So I'm really trying to get the camera plane as flat as possible so that all of that image sits on the same plane and is in focus as much as possible. I don't mind actually if it softens a little bit towards the edges of the leaves. So what I've really honed in on are the water droplets. I'll show you what I'm looking at on the back of the camera. So you can see on the back of the camera, we've got this main leaf here, the main brown leaf, which has got the water droplets on it. Now, because I'm shooting in video format, we've got a cropped image here, which I can't really zoom in and out because it's a fixed macro lens. But you can see we've got this lovely main brown leaf with the droplets on, and then this smaller leaf, which has still got that little bit of colour in. And then there's this tiny little spot of lichen. I don't know whether that's just going to distract from the image. So I'll probably take one and then perhaps pull that out of the image just to see if it works better without it. But I really do like those colours of those leaves sat against the white snow there. It really does isolate the image. So anyway, let me take this shot, and here's the first image. So there's a few things that I'm trying to do when I'm taking these shots. One is to make sure that I've got plenty of white space around my subject area, because I really want to show these leaves in isolation. I want to show them sort of as they are, just in the middle of snow. I also want to slightly underexpose my images so that I make sure I get all of that detail in the snow. In some cases where the leaves have been there a little while, it's just slightly eroded away under the snow a little bit, which leaves a nice little shadow. And the other thing is not to put them too dead central in the middle of the image. Just slightly put them to one side, leaving plenty of area around them. But anyway, I've taken a few shots and here's a couple of those images. So I'm going to make my way down to the river now, which is what I came originally to photograph just before I got caught up in photographing all of those leaves. And I don't know if you can hear it, but it really is in full torrent now. So I'm looking forward to getting down there. So I've come down to the river and you can see that it's absolutely in full torrent down through here. And what I really like is that there's still some snow on the rocks. So what I've done is I've just come down, I'm just going to see if I can get a nice composition with this water cascading down. I always know when I'm in a bit of a dangerous spot because Corin's just checking my life insurance is still up to date, which usually means that I'm somewhere that's a little bit dangerous. I don't plan on going too much further. It is quite slippery. But you can see the colour of the water is really peaty. I'm guessing that it's picked up a lot of the ground as it's come down through here. It's got a real orangey tint to it. The sun's just coming up behind me, so I want to be careful that it doesn't get too bright. So I'm going to set up the camera and just get a nice composition with this water cascading down from my left-hand side and these beautiful rocks covered in snow in front of me. I hope you can hear me okay because it is incredibly noisy down through here. But, wow, what a scene. It really is beautiful. I wasn't expecting there to be so much snow, so it's a real bonus. And a nice little bit of cloud cover as well, so the sun does disappear now and again. Anyway, I'll set up the camera and then I'll show you what I'm looking at. Now I'm really struggling to get a good composition here. I'm really limited to where I can get to. I can't get onto the rock very easily because it's covered in snow. So I've gone for a portrait shot. I'll show you what I'm looking at on the back of the camera. You can see that what I've done is I've gone portrait and managed to capture some of this nice rock in the foreground here, which has got a few leaves on it and some nice rock textures, but that just gives it a nice little bit of foreground interest. And then we've got the water coming in from the left-hand side and cascading through. I'm sort of trying to shoot on around about an 1/8 or a 1/6 of a second so that it's not too soft, that water, but does give it a little bit of a movement. And then I've got those rocks behind with the water cascading down between them and the snow on top of them. So again, I'm going to slightly underexpose, make sure I've got the detail in the snow okay, but not my favourite composition, but yeah, it's nice. It's a good start to photographing the river, and it really is beautiful as it comes down through here, just gushing down so fast and coming down between the rocks with the snow. It's a lovely scene, just tricky to capture. Anyway, I'll play about a bit, and well, this is the image that I end up with. This is a real definition of having to work hard to get your shot. I'm trying to capture this small little falls just over here with the rocks and the branches coming down, but I'm really struggling to get into a position to be able to take it. It's a bit of the water's really deep just in front of me. We've got the branch coming off to the side here, which I'm not actually including in the shot, but then we've got these branches dangling down as well. So I'm sort of trying to balance the tripod on a bit of rock, bit of tree, and just try and shoot through these branches up into that falls. So anyway, I'll keep playing around and see if I can get a composition set up. I'm using my 70 to 200 millimeter lens just to sort of zoom right in there. But I think just really isolated, it could make a nice scene. I like the way that the branch at the back there is coming down across the falls. But there are a lot of branches that are around the top there, which is why I'm having to get quite low. You can see that peat in the water coming through. It looks so orangey. It's incredible how it's just churning up the bed of the river, I think. But anyway, let me set the lens up and we'll see what we've got. So I'll show you in the back of the camera what I'm looking at. So I've zoomed right in on the wee falls there, and I'm definitely going to have to bracket this shot. The dynamic range difference between that snow and that dark rock is too great for my camera to pick up. So I'm going to have to shoot sort of a bracket, maybe about 3 or 4 different exposures, make sure I get plenty of detail in that shadow area. I might be all right. It's always difficult to tell when you're looking on the back of the camera. Sometimes it's difficult to see if you've got the detail in the shadows, but I'm definitely blowing out on the snow areas, blowing out my highlights quite a bit there. So I think I'll take a couple of shots. So what I really like about this scene is we've got this small falls at the front, some nice snow-covered rocks either side, but then there's the branch that goes across the falls at the back there, which I actually really like. I know it sort of breaks up the image, but it gives it a little bit of detail. Right in the distance are the really big falls, but I don't think that's really actually in my image. I've got a couple of branches dangling down, which I'm going to move out of the way when I come to take the shot. But it's a lovely, nice, small scene. You know, you've got all of these huge waterfalls around you, but actually this, just narrowing in and zooming in on this small one, you don't really sort of know the perspective or scale of it. And it's a really nice, intimate scene with the snow, with the rocks, the moss. So anyway, let me stop talking and here's the shot. Well, it's been a really strange day. Sort of headed out the door this morning, I expect it to be grey and wet. The snow was supposed to have gone, and we've even got some storms on the way this afternoon. But we've come into the snow, there's been some nice light. It's been incredible to see the river just in so much full flow. It's just intense. I'm sure you can hear it in the background. I couldn't actually get some shots of the main falls that come down through here under the bridge because there was so much mist coming up from the falls. Really intense, but absolutely stunning to see. managed to get some drone footage up through the river. And what a great start, you know, started taking photographs of the leaves in the snow, just real sort of simple, clean images, and then down to the river to get some of that sort of fast flowing water. And, you know, I mean, it's still the same message. If I hadn't have got out here, wouldn't have got the photos, wouldn't have seen the snow, wouldn't have experienced the river. It's been incredible. I hope you've enjoyed this episode of the vlog. Sorry it's been a bit all over the place, but if you're new to the channel, please subscribe, hit the bell notification so you don't miss an episode, leave me a comment below, and well, I look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Thank you so much for watching.